Greetings, vloggers, and followers. Dustin here with Dustin's Dynasty. It's a happy Valentine's Day here in the world, and I believe most of the world. If I'm wrong on that, please correct me. So today I want to talk just a little bit and not get too deep into it, but about love. What is love? And that is such a heavy loaded question. Well, sometimes we as people on the autism spectrum don't even know what love is. And I know that we talk like that, but look at the movie Forrest Gump, and I know that's a movie that was pointed out many times in in the autism spectrum. You know, he wanted to marry Jenny at that one scene, and she said he didn't even know what love was. But when we look through the film, we watch the film over and over, and you think like I did because I loved it. But when you watch the film over and over, you see that he does anything for this woman. But she had her own issues. She was messed up. She didn't know what love. She said he didn't know what love was, but he replied after she said that he didn't know what love is. He said he was a smart man, but he did know what love was. Sadly, she climbed into his bed at night and they made a little forest. But that's a whole other situation. But sometimes with learning what love is, it's hard because love is such a universal word, and it's used and sometimes we as autistics don't understand the feeling of love, or we don't know. It's such a platonic word that we don't know. We kind of know what love is, but it's not an actual thing. And sometimes we have to see things and feel things and be with things that has to show our true love and our true emotion. That learning into emotions is it's sometimes hard for us to show emotion towards things. Sometimes we do look, kind of boring face. Sometimes with skills, with knowledge, we can learn our emotions and learn, how to be emotional and feel emotional. And sometimes, it's just when things tear us and rip us a new one, we too can feel emotion. Sometimes a relationship, ironically, it can be a person's special interest. It can be, so if they invest it into a relationship just like they do a special interest, I just, it can be a passion, and, it can be kind of creepy sometimes, but, if done the right way, it can be. They can think about it or talk about it like a growing teenager. Sometimes they can. It can be scary, yes, but I think it can be an interest, and that's a good thing. So they can be difficult to maneuver. The relationships are hard at any given moment, even for just neurotypical people. They're just difficult, and that's just no lie about it. They can be difficult to maneuver, and people, especially with doing things with intimacy, love, that sort of thing, and that's too complicated. And we have to understand too that what is our body, and we have to learn to keep it to ourselves till just the right moment or just the right person. It's very complex, and it's very confusing. How if we do something the wrong way, or we take a step, two steps, too many steps forward, or we don't move forward enough. How can that really help the person? Um, that can either break or make their relationship. So relationships are hard. They're just, especially the romantic kind, they're very hard. You add other things to it, it can be worse. But we do want to be loved. That's not a doubt. But some of us, again, we have to keep in mind that autism is a spectrum disorder. So, what may be loved to one person may not be loved to another person. Maybe love different, a whole different love to another person, and some, just may never want, a relationship, or may want to be with anybody. And that's another thing too, is that relationships, they shouldn't be forced on a person just because they fit societal norms, or they think it'll make them a better person. Because in reality, you're not. You're just setting them up to fail because they're being forced into a relationship that is just difficult, and it is difficult for them, and it puts them in a lot of fear to go out and just go out on a date or go out to a bar. And the bar, I'll tell you what, the bar is the worst place a person with autism can be, is the bar. I hate going to bars. So, conventional love, such as going to a club, or oftentimes going to a club or going to a bar, can be difficult for some. And that kind of, sometimes we just like the casual, dinner in a small restaurant, and it's okay. Um, so, and it's also keep in mind that, as a neurotypical, if you're dating somebody with autism, you may need to play the role of interpreter. And, sometimes you have to tell us what's going on, because we may not know. We're just clueless. You have to see the world through our eyes. And I know it's very complicated, but sometimes you just have to see the world through our eyes. And, it's, working hard to see through that. We don't always get the message. The message comes later. We don't get the message at all. And that's difficult because, we just don't see the message. You have to see the world through our eyes to get, that we don't always get to see what you get. Um, and always, being aware of yourself is another thing too. When you're dating on the autism spectrum, self-awareness is key. Being aware of yourself and your own feelings, beliefs, and intentions, that's key. But self-awareness on both sides is important too. And when when your partner understands your feelings, beliefs, and intentions, they can share, how they're feeling, and you can share how you're feeling, and that'll work, you know. But learning about each other, it never stops, especially when you're dating an autism spectrum. So, sometimes when you go into a social setting, and you're alone, um, you know, sometimes we need to break away when we come back, and we need to be with our special interests for a while, whatever that may be, because we have trouble. We need time to self-regulate. We need time to be with our special interest. Sometimes group conversations are hard, and after that too, we would need time with our special interest, because we don't like knowing a lot of people. We don't like being in big. Oftentimes, we don't like being in big circles because there's a lot for us to juggle in that circle. A friendship or a circle of whatever. Um, and also be aware of sensory sensitivities, such as being overstimulated. There are often times when I go in places, and I could tell you places I went on dates that I would feel totally. I don't know why I went there, because I felt so overstimulated, and it was overly conscious, such as sounds, textures, smells, things like that. Things you got to think of when you're taking somebody, or somebody is taking you on a date. Those things come into play, and it can be rough on a person. You need to put yourself in your shoes. So I want you to put yourself. We're going to close the video by putting yourself in your shoes. Imagine running 10 miles during the day. Then you come home and your partner won't even acknowledge that you ran 10 miles. You know, um, how would you feel about that? It would probably hurt your feelings. Remember this analogy the next time you get upset with your partner when they say no to doing something or going along with being overwhelmed. They metaphorically run a marathon every day, but they aren't acknowledged for their efforts. Furthermore, they are asked to change or try harder. That can cause them to feel so sad, so it's important to think what really matters to you and be reasonable uh, in your request of your autistic partner. Recognize that how hard they are trying every day to make you happy. If you give them, if the, it will give you compassion and understanding to be reasonable with them while respecting your own needs too. Yes, that's the key thing. Sometimes we just need our space, and so I wish people would understand that more. Sometimes we come home and we don't want to do anything, and we don't want to, you know, we don't want to. We're just so overstimulated, and that's a big thing. So I just want to close with that. You need to do that because it's important. So with that, I thank you. Have a happy Valentine's Day. Love is everything to me, and love is whatever you want to believe in. So have a good day. Enjoy. Snowing, bad weather in a lot of parts of the country too. So just try to cuddle up and have fun. As always, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube on like, follow, subscribe. Dustin'sDynastyUSA.com.